And we're here for sad news and good news. Yeah.
Well, it's good news because we finally get to continue the Wednesday uploading session.
That's true. And Saturdays soon, because we'll recap that as well. But we're here to recap Wednesday sessions.
That's true.
Joined by the DM of the Wednesday session, Wyatt, and
Hello.
Yurik.
So I suppose you should explain why we're having to recap.
Yeah, so...
Indeed. First of all, we'd like to apologize for all of the inconvenience and only being able to upload the Sunday campaign for right now.
Yeah, we were in the
Sunday
middle of a
campaign's
session.
Enough.
Okay. We were in the middle of a session, and my laptop decided to just stop working. And so eventually I took it apart and was trying to get the information off the hard drive because I couldn't get it to work again. And the hard drive had nothing on it. So all the stuff that was on it is gone. And we are going to cover today the episode that was last put out, preparing for the cook-off, up to where we are at currently that we will upload tomorrow. So...
And I'll be home tomorrow, so I'm just going to have like massive uploads going on tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
Because we'll get it put out there, and so you guys can start watching the live stream if you wish.
Oh man, I can't wait for that.
That'll be very soon.
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay.
So where did we leave off again?
Left off when we were leaving the library. Well, we were
Shopping
on our day
for-
off, basically.
Yeah, you essentially had a day to prepare for the cook-off competition. So I believe you all spent it getting various ingredients and such, just to spice up the dishes a little bit, make them give yourself a little bit of an edge.
Yes.
I don't remember if you guys grabbed anything that was of importance on that last shopping day, but it's recorded, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then after that, you guys went back to Body of Farming, I believe, to rest.
Probably.
Sounds about right.
That's the most happening place in town, right?
Yep.
You guys go back to rest, and then you woke up bright and early, went to the Coliseum, and to compete, and you came across Saberwood again. I know you had also in his group. I know y'all also had a brief encounter with Welron. I know y'all saw him on the way in. He didn't see nothing. There was no altercation. You guys kind of saw each other. You met some other characters in there. You met a group of mages, of spellcasters some kind.
Diviners.
Oh no, that was later.
Okay.
You met a group of what seemed to be some kind of spellcaster that they were in part of the group competition, which you were all competing in. It was just a very brief encounter. You asked them what you need to do and stuff like that. And they just kind of pointed you in the right direction. Just take station. Before
it
that,
was that really jovial guy.
Yeah. Before that, you locked Saberwood and his people in the
secretly
in the waiting room with a magical lock. And you guys went on to compete. You guys made your dishes. They seemed like they turned out pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, because we totally would have won if it wasn't for happenings.
The judges were all lined up on their little judge podiums. Your guys's was a particularly chubby dwarf that seemed to very, very much enjoy his job.
Enough to where he didn't need to use words to speak.
Yeah, he
enjoyed his job and not talking to people.
And I had our plates made on our day off.
Yeah, out of the bullet shit.
Which that's recorded as well.
Oh, that is?
Yeah.
I thought that was the day off. Okay.
Well, I don't think they all got finished, but they got finished. I don't think they were recorded. They were finished, but they were recorded that you had them made.
Yeah,
because it took them a couple days to make all of them.
Yeah, we finished.
And they were beautiful.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
I still have them, so don't worry.
Oh yeah, you did.
I risked my
He pulls
life.
them out every now and then.
I risked my life. Those fucking
Yeah.
things.
Well, and the reason you had to risk
and
his
your
life
vibrating toys
is after they had completed their dishes and as they turned them in and they were being tasted, more like consumed, by the dwarf, it seems like there were some detractors of the goulash bash in the crowd, particularly a druid, a very heavily plated man, an elf druid, a very heavily plated male, and a very shady looking other male, who I don't remember the race of right now. I think he's both human. Yeah, they're both
Yeah.
human. Anyway,
Bring.
yeah, that, and then essentially the leader, who will be known as Naluthian, summoned a very huge storm, a very powerful storm that she used to not only bring down the Colosseum, but in the process killed many people, including some of the judges, contestants, and even the spectators as well that were unlucky enough to be struck by the lightning or pelted by the hail that came towards the end of it. It had many different phases to it. High winds, acid rain, very potent and powerful storm. The group, some people in the group attempted to stop them. Zoltan, with his decanter of water, was able to knock the roguish type off his balance.
Oh yeah, that's right. I water whipped him off there. Just pull him.
Uruk summoned his spectral beast to assist.
The mighty butt stallion.
The mighty butt stallion.
In the form of a brown bear.
Who unfortunately was quickly smited by the man in plate, who will be known as Bonnet Shea. And the roguish type is Bragg's Pock. But unfortunately, it was not enough. Naluthian continued her spell, deepened her channeling of it while they protected her. And Lass was unfortunately knocked unconscious by the storm. And it was at that point, I believe, everybody decided they needed to evacuate before things got even worse. So everybody evacuated in their own way. Lass was saved by Zoltan, I believe. Or Uruk, one or the other, I think.
Something like that.
Cragmaw left.
Cragmaw went the other side left on the other side of the stadium due to his fantastic speed, and had the of mind to save Saberwit and his group by allowing them out
heroically.
Heroically. And you all regrouped as the Colosseum was crumbling to dust. The storm itself, it went on a little bit outside of the Colosseum, but the Colosseum was large enough to pretty much contain the storm, more or less. And it was thoroughly destroyed, and it was a very sad day for the city of Shagrishim in the country of Gula. And you guys, I believe, quickly made a swift exit out of the city for fear of being trapped inside of it due to some kind of lockdown. You went to the small plot of land that you owned. Well, it wasn't small, it's a decent-sized plot of land outside on the east side of Shagrishim. And you guys set up your first Darren's instant fortress, where you stayed for the night. Is there anything I've forgotten so far?
I don't think so.
Because I believe that was the end of that session, is where that ended at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they knocked on our door in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, there was a knocking at the door. It was somebody that was attempting to hang up a flyer, but they couldn't hang it up on the door of the incident fortress. They just gave up and dropped it on the front porch. And you guys saw on it that it was a memoriam for the people that had passed, and an announcement saying that Murray was going to give a speech to the town in light of the tragic event. Some of you had were of mind to see if the necromancer that you've had interactions with in the past, his name was on there. You did some questioning around for what his name was because none of you knew it, and indeed you guys discovered that Welron's name was on the list of those that had tragically passed.
Not in Welron.
No.
Sorry, I apologize. The necromancer Duvad.
Yeah.
Duvad Hentor, which is the first time I believe his name has been said because the footage was lost of it. Yeah, Duvad, which was the name of the necromancer.
Indeed.
I
The
tragically
asshole
passed.
that Catagas and Cragmaw encountered, which I'm pretty sure is up on the video.
Yes, that one should
Yeah.
be.
That's the connection there, by the way.
Yeah. The just another competitor in the Goulash Bash. Seemed to be a solo competitor. Anyway, you guys went and attended the speech. Murray showed up. He seemed like he seemed like a very well respected and loved leader. Gave a very emotional speech, touched many people, and then he he
Not sexually.
no, yeah, not sexually.
Sadly.
And then he and then he passed off to Grismelberg, who is an Afork, and she is the leader of the guard in Shagersham.
Indeed.
And she gave a quick, prompt speech to competitors that there will be a rigorous investigation to how this was allowed to happen and to find those that perpetrated it. And she extended an offer to all the competitors, since most of them are adventurers and handy, not only in combat but with other skills, that if they wish to participate, and as a way to supplement their now lack of a job or career of any kind, if this was how they made their living, then she would be more than happy to accept and bring them on and assign them tasks. And at that point, you guys decide, yeah, that's probably the next logical step to do.
And we became the mobile task unit.
The MTU.
The
That's right.
MTU.
That's right.
Grismelberg, yeah, you guys went to talk to Grismelberg, and she assigned you the task of finding out about any kind of druidic coven that Neluthian Laka, which I don't know if I mentioned that, what is the name of the druid who performed the storm of the giant storm.
They do.
The full name.
Yeah.
Neluthian Laka.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, she signed you with finding any druidic covens that might be familiar with the Emerald Shadow or that might be associated with them, so on and so forth. And okay, now it starts getting a little foggy.
We made our way to Hostone, basically.
No, there's a little bit that happened before that, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I know we went and investigated the city a little
You
bit.
guys, I know you guys went to investigate around the city. You did a little bit of shopping, and you ran across a group of diviners.
Diviners, that's where they come in.
And a young halfling kind of gave away that they were kind of suspicious of you, but once talking to you, it kind of set their suspicions aside. They're just part of. They were also hired. Of course, they work for the Mages Guild, so they work for the city. So it is of most importance to them to provide their assistance, and I believe that is what led you guys to go to the Mages Guild to try to speak with Inwellron. I could be wrong though.
It sounds somewhat familiar. I remember one of our first things was to go and try and talk to Narder in Hostone, since he was a druid himself, to see if he would maybe have any knowledge of any either former or current druidic covens that we could investigate. I remember that was one of the main reasons we ended up going to Hostone. But where we go after that, where we go after the diviners, that is also a little fuzzy to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys went to Inwellron first, because I don't think you traveled by foot back to Hostone.
Yeah,
No, we
wasn't
teleported
that part of our
correct.
assignment? Was like if they allowed us to transport over there. Wait, no, that was the second time.
No, we convinced them that we needed
to do it for the investigation.
Yeah, the MTU.
Yeah,
That's where that came.
and you guys met with Inwellron, and he actually provided the start of, if I remember correctly, some useful information, which led you to start asking more questions to the right people.
Yeah, and he said he would exchange his services if we looked into the situation with the portals.
Correct.
That's what it was.
There was a situation in Hostone that he also needed assistance with, and he
attacks
was
on the roads.
more than happy to.
Sorry.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I just sniffed into the mic.
Oh.
I was apologizing.
It was more than happy to provide with you use of the portals for helping him with the situation. Yeah, like you said, with the attacks on the road outside of Hostone, which they were trying to keep kind of quiet.
And boom, we
since there was also
teleported.
happening. Yeah, and you teleported, but
Met the fog.
you guys also asked him some questions, I believe, about
If he was
Neluthian and stuff like that, and
familiar,
he said yes, he was familiar with them. They were because this was important. They were prominent adventures about a decade ago or so.
Known as the Emerald Way.
Well, no, that's later.
That was later?
That's the druidic group. But they were her, Braggs, and Bonnet were a group of adventurers that were fairly accomplished. And the last time they were seen in Shagershan, they were trying to find a person that they claimed their partner. That was Deinicus. And they said they, as far as in Inwellron, they never found him. And then he hadn't heard from them again after that. And then this happened. And then made Cragmaw very suspicious of Inwellron.
Right.
He was convinced that he utilized his portal. They utilized his portals in some way to get into the town, and he made the list.
he made the list.
Yeah.
And
Number one on the list.
And then that's when you guys went to Hostone after all the agreement and all that.
Yep.
And you got to Hostone, and when you got to Hostone, the first thing you did was talk to the crazy portal keeper that they have there, who has some issues.
Two personalities per se.
Yeah, seems to react violently to magic of some
she's
kind.
like a walking, talking, detect magic spell.
Kind of, yeah. But in a less polite way.
Indeed.
And you guys found out the name of the person that runs the Mages Guild in Hostone to be Harder.
Yep.
Which isn't confusing at all, since there's a druid that you guys are already acquainted with named Narder. And you guys were already, in the other videos, you already acquainted with Narder and also Aorphanus, who is another spellcaster in the city, who is a wizard.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, believe you guys went straight to, started to go out to investigate. Yeah, you guys went to investigate the road, and you just talked to Narder on the way, I believe.
We also talked to some of the guards outside
met
of the city, right?
You
the
met
captain
Laugh
of the guard
Yeah.
of Hostone, who I tried to use magic on to make sure he was telling the truth, and he did not appreciate that.
Yes,
Yeah.
most people don't appreciate that.
Well, we made amends, though. I made amends with him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's recorded or not. Eventually.
Yeah.
Lafney was kind of stupid anyways, to be fair.
Yeah, he's not the most competent person, but he tried his best.
Kind of like fucking Lenny. Fuck Lenny. That's a Saturday campaign, sorry.
And then you guys went to talk to Narder. You asked about if he knew anything by the name of the Emerald Shadow. He said, I've heard of a group called the Emerald Way. And that kind of pointed you in the direction of, like, okay, maybe they were associated with them at some point. And then you guys went further down the road just to try to explore on your own. And I believe as you were traveling, you had a couple of encounters with some people. You came across a holy man that seemed to be on a pilgrimage by the name of Dush. Actually, no. I have it backwards. No, that didn't happen yet.
That didn't happen.
You guys met a man on the side of the road that was looking for a flower of some sort that you guys were familiar with. The way he explained it sounded like the purple flower, a lily of sorts, I believe, actually, or a lilac, one or the other. I can't remember the difference between the two.
It was a lilac.
Lilac, that he had described. And you're like, oh, well, maybe it might be this one at the shrine. And you're like, okay. And you guys took him to the shrine, and it was no longer there. You guys did a little bit of tracking and saw that there were tracks that went out into the field. Told him, well, it goes out that way, but this is not. We're stopping here, so you're on your own. You're like, all right. And y'all sent him on his way, and he was like, well, the reason he was searching for it is because he had been seeing it in his dreams. It was he felt like it was his destiny to find this flower.
Wait, didn't this happen like before? This was happening when we were headed back to Chakra.
You know, you're right. That actually might be on the recording. I think
because I remember feeling like if we stopped him, this may not be fucking happening.
Yeah, you know what? I think he's correct. I think all this happened before. I think you did go run into Dush, actually, but I don't think you went out there yet. I think I have it backwards. You went to talk to Harder and to get the situation for what's happening.
And then we went to
I don't think you guys left the town again to go out there until you had the group all together.
Yeah, we had to get the band together.
That's exactly what happened. You're correct. I had that completely backwards. You met Dush on the way out there.
Yes, and Catagast convinced him to come with us.
To join. Well, not really
man.
convinced him. Dush was kind of more like, well, I kind of have to.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, evil's this way, brother.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, let me jump back then. You guys talked to a bunch of people in town. You met Harder. You met you asked him of the situation, and shit. Now I'm confused. How did we get Welron involved? Because he went out there with you guys too.
I think I just messaged him. I messaged him, and I was like, hey, portals.
Yeah, and they already had the band together mostly.
But how did you
by the
guys
time we got
discover the
there.
portal and everything?
I think we just scouted ahead. I think we literally got there and
What
Wait,
happened
no, it
was-
was harder.
No, what happened was we
Or Narder, I mean.
we asked Laughme and whatnot about these attacks. We went and investigated a little bit. We found the body of the shepherd.
Yes, from forever. Yeah, the shepherd
Oh,
that was
yeah.
leading the invisible flock.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
We suspected that it might be the one because we found multiple sets of tracks. So if I'm not mistaken, we
Yeah.
suspected that it might be one and more of those ice devils that we previously encountered that wrecked our shit.
But
yeah, and then we followed them, and then you sent Bud Stallion in to the forest to get a closer look.
because
The
I
last
see,
one
because I
ahead.
know
The
y'all
last
didn't
one
y'all
ahead.
didn't meet Dush when the whole group was together yet. I know you did because you went there and then
Right,
you
we
came
were-
back with Dush and then he went back out.
Because
with
we
some
scouted,
things.
we followed the tracks for a while, and I sent a Butt Stallion out like he had kept him a mile ahead of us. And he was relaying back to me what he was seeing. And
Yep.
Lass, Catagas turned Lass invisible to go out as well. We found the effigy of that
That was towards the tree line deck to the south of
host.
Hostone.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
when all this happened, though.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
you're
then we
correct.
were like, okay, we need to report back. And then I sent a message to Enrollron and was like,
We
hey,
explained
we
to
need,
Harder what was going on.
yeah, we need an army.
Yes.
And then they sent an army. Well, they sent
Well,
a
they
couple
they
people.
they sent a decent sized group of people. They after all that happened, you guys did the scouting, and Welron himself came
Mhm.
with his assistant
His assistant.
Tin Lutau.
Yep.
Tin Lutau.
Tin Lutau. And they also convinced Aorphanus and Narder in
Yeah.
town to come along.
Mhm.
Which Narder seemed like he was more than happy to. Aorphanus was more apathetic.
Was it
More
harder
like,
there?
"Eh,
Well, when we spoke to Alphonsus, he said that he had felt that something bad was coming.
yes.
This was prior to all the group.
Yeah, you guys
Mhm.
had a little bit of an aside with Aorphanus beforehand, and he was like, because he's more of a generalist, and he was like, oh, I can dabble in some divination, see if I can figure something out. And he's like, oh boy, man, something's gonna happen, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what,
Yep.
but I don't want to be around when it happens.
But then, yeah, we grouped up
And went forward.
with
and-
everybody. This is
Yeah,
everybody.
the whole gang got together.
Even
This is
Laughme.
This is where we
Even
met.
Laughme sucked it
Yep.
up and was like, oh, I guess.
And we met Dush, the cleric traveler.
Well, you met him before that, because I remember specifically you guys met him, brought him back to town, got the group together, and then went back
Okay.
out.
It was when we were heading back from
Yeah, that's right.
scouting
That's
out.
correct. That's correct.
Yes, because he was heading towards that, and you guys, you shouldn't go out there.
Yeah, yeah, you're
And
right.
he was like, oh my God the Almighty One will protect
Yeah.
me from any harm that may come my way.
And then we went. Well, we just grouped up. And
Yeah, and then you guys went out.
found the portal.
You found the portal. And you
Elrond
fought off
dispelled it.
a
There's
bunch of
ice
ice devils, and
devils.
Welron dispelled it.
Bone devils and some
Like,
imps.
Dush banished a fucking ice devil.
I gave,
Yeah.
I gave
Bone
Cragmaw
Devil.
his first
You
taste
guys
of haste.
made pretty quick work of it, honestly. Yeah,
Cragmaw
Cragmaw
did
did.
most
Oh, and also thanks to fucking Narder, by the way, for the Eagle Scouts. You know, like the eagle that was scouting above.
Yeah, gave you full information on.
Yeah, letting us know everything.
Oh, not
was
only
going
ice
on.
devils, but
Bone devils.
bone devils, and a couple of imps as well, which
Yeah,
escaped.
Well, I,
from you
gave, I
guys.
gave Cragmaw haste. That would be
It
fair.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
2 bone devils, 3 ice devils, and 4 imps.
There you go.
And ominous red portals that looked very distorted.
And you got and we're all managed to shut it down the first time. You got to see a little bit of what everybody was capable of, and you guys took the flower back to the shrine, which was in a
Wait.
much more state of disrepair.
Don't forget about Laughne almost hitting the fucking sheep.
You who I think it was Aorphanus
Yeah.
that polymorphed one of the ice devils.
And we were like, "Don't hit it! Don't hit it!" He's
And
like, "Aw."
but he was about to take a swing at it, so he wanted to contribute.
Since I know it's going to be brought up later on again.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, let's talk
I
about.
was riding
Yeah, let's
Butt
talk about the
Stallion
most
in
important part.
combat, and I rolled a natural one, and I wrecked Butt Stallion shit.
Yep. He was
Yeah.
he was
Man,
riding
that's
straight into battle and
I,
blew
He
the face off
clocked
his
him
own
right in the
horse.
back of the head.
Yep.
since I know no one's going to shut up about
And then
it.
hit the ground.
We should also bring up. Wait, no, we're about to get there. But wait, how did you get that mace? Did we buy that mace?
Oh,
My flail.
we forgot while you guys were in way back when you guys were in Shagershan, you employed the
Mages Guild.
a woman at the Mages Guild who I can't remember the name of
Nor can I.
to enchant your
My
mace,
flail.
the flail,
became
sorry.
A flail of
Spellstorm.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm putting a bunch of lightning spells.
Which-
Cadagast's help.
For any like D&D players I've played a lot, I know that doesn't exist in 5th edition anymore, but I brought it back from 3.5 for this case because I thought it'd be fun.
It is
I
useful.
think it's fun.
Yeah, it's
Very
pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Which it might be in 5th edition with some expanded stuff, but I couldn't
Maybe.
find it. Anyway,
And it comes in handy a lot.
You
when
put it
you're
in
not
there,
hitting
so
butt
that's all that
stallion.
matters.
he has that.
And then
And it often gets spell stored with lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
And then we headed back to get our payment from Ron and went to his.
Oh,
bloody
yeah.
treasure.
Which also included magical
Yeah,
items.
the
as
promised
payment.
reward was...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the promised reward was to browse through the stores of the Mages Guild of magical items.
Yeah,
and
to the
choose
warehouse,
something
essentially.
Within
We were
reason.
allowed-
Within reason.
Within
And
reason.
his assistant was escorting us.
And you guys reasoned quite well.
Yeah, we were
Um,
basically allowed to take like one uncommon or rare
Yeah,
item.
so the way it worked
Wait,
is
uncommon or common item.
every person was allowed to take
a rare.
an uncommon item if they wish, I believe.
I think it was rare.
An uncommon or
one
rare.
legendary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
uncommon or rare. That's
They
what I
gave the
thought.
caveat that if you somebody wanted one of their more legendary items, then that'd be fine. You'd have to give up something else.
It's pretty much like if
Fortunately
you
for
wanted a
you
legendary.
guys, you have the roach folk with the silver tongue, and it was also it was Uruk. It
I was the
Uruk.
one who rolled the
Yeah.
natural 20.
Yeah, you're right. It was Uruk, and with the assistance of Uruk. Well, I think it was mostly Uruk. Somebody assisted you. I think it was Cragmaw.
It was
who
just me and
assisted you.
Cragmaw.
Yeah, with mostly it was Uruk who was flirting with the half orc woman. It was a half orc older woman.
Indeed.
Yeah, I remember that. Gafortis, that's his name. Her name.
Gafortis. Yeah,
Gafortis.
that was it. That was it.
Anyway, you were able to convince them to accept trade-ins for a lot of the items
Yeah,
that you
so it
wanted.
was.
That was the main thing. You guys technically traded in the uncommon, like were pretty fair trades, but that wasn't what Ron had in mind. But and the main boon was the roach folk, Cragmaw, ended up with a hammer of thunderbolts as well as the belt and gloves needed to wield it. We also, of note, we got headband of teleportation, which is
For
very
Zoltan.
handy for Zoltan. We also got a spell resistance cloak, I believe.
Cloak of
For
displacement.
Catagus.
Yeah.
We got two or three
Yeah,
cloaks.
for last as well, and Udo.
One for one for
No, you got
last,
the
one for Catagast, and I
Cloaks
got
of
the
displacement.
adamantine armor.
adamantine.
He got some adamantine armor.
That's about
That was
it.
it. That was
was
all we
that
got.
it?
What
Yeah.
about teleport?
No. You also got the bag, didn't you? Bag of. Oh, that was later.
That's already recorded.
When did we get the band of teleportation?
Oh, we just said
That's
that.
yeah,
One.
we mentioned it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the
I was
headband.
missed
Yeah.
it. Sorry.
It's okay.
And what traded in was the Darren's Instant Fortress, correct?
Yeah, the first one that we had.
The first one,
Yeah, we get another one.
which you'll
Oh
see
yeah.
that one.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you guys will find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got it from the black market. Yeah,
Wait, that one might be on recording though.
it is.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Did you guys make any trips to the black market on the ones we didn't record?
No, I don't believe so.
No, that was way before.
It was before.
Yeah.
You got it before and after. Okay. You got your items and all of that. There were some artifacts of note that were sealed away, which unfortunately can't remember all of them right now. But there were 2 tomes of importance that
One was
weren't explained exactly well because they're not exactly understood how they work completely. But I remember one specifically had the equivalent of what you would call Da Vinci's Perfect Man on the front cover of it, and the other one that I can't remember the name of
I
what it
believe
did.
it was like it can basically make you have perfect health and whatnot, but like it takes years off your life or something.
Like that. Yeah.
That's the caveat.
And the swords were very cryptic.
Shabone.
and they
Arguably
seemed-
the most notable.
Yeah, they were bone swords, which each one was about the size of your average human man. They were very large, and they had a very interesting story to them about a journal and a warlock that had been studying them, attempted to use them, and supposedly, and poof, gone. The area that he had been studying them in is nothing but a huge desert that's to the south, which you
But there's
guys have
still a
not
big portal
visited
there.
before.
He created the desert.
We don't know.
Well, not a portal,
That's fine.
but there's like a big leyline spot there.
That's
So
my new hypothesis.
Okay, so
I
there's
think that
that.
pretty much sums it up.
Is that everything?
No, then
No, we're not there yet.
Well, then we
After-
go to the forest.
After you got your equipment and you
Oh,
guys were
yeah.
ready to go, you're like, all right, let's head back. And you guys went back to Hostone, and then from there you traveled up into.
To get
We were given
to the forest of
information
Kidway.
by Haida and
Oh
Narder.
yes, I forgot about that. You guys went back to Hostone and you questioned. Mostly it was Haida that gave you information about her mother, who was part of the Emerald Way and knew Kidway.
Gain some
decently
insight
well.
into how the Kidway Forest came about, the Great Tree of Kidway.
Yes, you guys found out that Niluthium was part of the Emerald Way.
And we found out Jormund
Jomund.
was her grandfather, right?
Who's?
No, he was
Haida's?
unrelated to Haida.
No, he was not related in any way.
Oh, who is?
Her mother was a member of the Emerald Way.
Yeah, her mother. That's it. Yeah, an unnamed character, somebody that just seemed to be of little importance. Jamond.
Ilmus. Sorry,
Ilmus.
was a member of the Emerald Way.
That might be
It was-
Haida's mother.
Yeah.
Might be. I don't remember an Ilmus.
Okay.
But Jamond, who you guys still haven't even met yet, isn't even in charge of Hostone anymore. I should probably mention that. It's his son that is now in charge of Hostone.
That's what I was-
Because I mentioned that in one of the sessions, or a couple
Yeah.
of them.
Jormund helped Kidway find the city of Hostone.
Yes,
establish it.
together, Jamond, Kidway, and what's his name?
Harder.
Harder.
No.
They were
Yeah,
adventurers.
harder.
Yeah, it's
Harder.
Yeah, they were. They
Murder-eye.
adventured together. Did I say they established the city of Hostone?
Yeah, they did.
Mhm.
Yeah, they founded it.
And then we found the information of
Yeah.
Kidwee,
Kidway putting the magic upon the tree,
Yeah, that makes sense.
sacrificing himself and many others.
Yeah, because it makes sense. Because after when I say establish a city of Hostone, it was more like their base of operations, and became a city, because that's where they were spacing out of when they were trying to evaluate and do their ritual for containing the wild magics that were to the north in the forest of Kidway.
And that led us to question Kidwee.
And you guys went back to talk Kidwee, and boy was he an asshole. He's
he
quite
changed.
grumpy.
Really different.
Yeah, he changed.
Very much a change. It seemed like he become much more
Short-tempered.
power hungry, short tempered,
Power
cocky,
is definitely the first thing that comes to my mind.
arrogant.
We questioned him.
Not the
somewhat.
gentle forest god that you had interacted with before.
Gentle.
And
I mean, he
A
was,
lot more malevolent.
and after my beautiful roll, we found out that as the forest declined, his power and the evil side grew.
yeah. So the fantastic 20 on the knowledge arcana roll. I remember that. So he kind of surmised that as the containment that Kidwee had bestowed upon the forest was starting to fail, the magics that it was containing were becoming more powerful. So the forest itself was becoming more powerful, but it was less Kidway and more just the chaotic magics.
Yeah.
So that's why it was still kind of, it had his spirit, but it was becoming corrupted, so to speak, I guess would be the best way to put it. But still, you guys, he still remembered what you guys did for him with the Shambling Mounds and stuff, and he was concerned about a group of 3 people that had showed up in his forest and then just disappeared, which he wasn't happy about, because it's his forest. He knows everything that goes down in his forest. It's my forest, I know. Anyway, he sent you to where the last spot he had seen them before they went dark, so to speak, and it was at the entrance of the what used to be the Emerald Ways Druidic Coven place. And I believe
That's where it picks up.
that's where it picks up at. Any small details that I might have missed
Small details. I mean,
that anybody
Yeah, probably
remembers?
a lot.
Well, that anybody
Yeah.
remembers that
we all know
It's
that.
Nothing of like a real significance.
Well, I know
up
that
to this point.
Patterson did on one of the sessions. He should be mentioned that he rolled like 3 or 4 20s in a row.
did he?
Yes, it
Damn.
was like 3 or 4 critical 20s in a
I don't know if it was in a row, but
I'm pretty sure it was in a row. It was
I
definitely
know he
3
was,
in a
I know
row.
he was rolling hot one night.
Yeah, he rolled like 3 in a row.
I do
at least.
remember. Man, there's some things I remember, but I don't know if they are recorded or not. No, that was. No.
There's a lot of stuff that our group does on the side. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
We
really.
got a lot of side quests going on.
Shenanigans. I know you had a conversation with a man in the bar at the Hostone, a very brief conversation.
Oh, yes.
He was some kind of mercenary of sorts.
That was already recorded because that was
Was it?
That was when we were hunting the belay.
I guess it
We
was.
got the
You're
Hostone.
correct.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I guess that was recorded. I don't think I can think of anything
Yeah.
else.
Well, we've done it.
Nothing of significance, that is.
And now you are all caught up.
Yeah, and I know it's not as entertaining as watching the sessions, but I guess it's the best we can really do.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
pretty much.
And this will be uploaded tomorrow as well as some of the Wednesday sessions.
Yo, we're
And then-
sorry about it.
Yep, and then
Yeah,
we'll gather.
real sorry.
But if you catch up, it'll be worth it because it gets really good. And our audio equipment,
Yeah,
as you
dude.
can tell from our newer sessions with Sunday, is much better.
And our visual equipment.
Yeah, and we're getting another camera for our DM Tuesday. So
yeah, no more awkward
even
angles.
though you'll have to get through a few episodes to get to that, it'll be there waiting for you. So
Indeed.
we plan to keep making it better. So, but thank you.
Always improving.
Always.
Thanks for tuning in.
For us.
Yeah.
And for you.
And remember to subscribe.
We love you.
Drop a comment.
I'm indifferent.
Later.